live at the door. All right. All right, you're good. You go inside. Good morning. I have one of my favorite bands and that has come out from Philly and was one of my favorite had one of my favorite records last year. I have D from Hot Dog. Homie, introduce yourself. Welcome to the pod.
Hi, I'm Dee from Haunt Dog and Philadelphia World. What's going on?
Hey, well, we've been kind of talking for a second. My favorite thing about this is that you're literally driving home and your
Mhm.
audio sounds pretty good. So just kind of like the chaos of the record that you released, you're kind of in chaos of doing so many things right now.
Yeah, I'm a chaotic egg. What can I say? I
Well,
interview while I drive. I write chaotic, crazy record. I put the cereal in the bowl before the milk, or the milk in the
oh,
cereal before the cereal.
oh, ew. Ew. At least it's not like I've heard some people do like water instead of milk. And
I've never I've never heard of such a thing. That's unhinged.
it's unhinged. It's borderline just not okay. I just think that that's just like a litmus test for me. If you put water in your cereal, I think we're not going to be good. Um,
Yeah.
but let's talk about this. You know, I've been trying to get you on for a second. First of all, just I want to let you all know. Um, D is I think that you're the principal songwriter, correct?
Yeah, for the
All right.
most part.
There's usually a principal and like a secondary that they bounce off of. But as the principal songwriter and as like a theory nerd by myself, you and I have talked about this a little bit. Um, you're crazy when it comes to theory and kind of breaking it on this record specifically. So kind of give us like, first of all, a couple of things. One, what's your background in music? And two, what were you listening to when you were working on this record?
Um, so my background in music is not, uh, I don't know. I've been doing the DIY thing for a long time. I think I started going to house shows in like 2014, 2015. Um, I pretty much outside of just like playing in, little bands and stuff like that. Like I never took lessons. I never studied music. My grandpa taught me how to play guitar pretty young. I've been playing since I was about 6, but like I can't even read tabs. Like I'm pretty I'm pretty like musically illiterate, but that kind of makes the canvas of it all like that much more interesting because like I figure out weird shapes and it's like, okay, I like this cool triangle chord. It sounds nice and I get to do cool things with it. Um
It's like you get to come at it with from such a blank state. You have no rails like the rest of us do.
yeah, no, exactly. Um as for what I was listening to when I wrote Filbert, a lot of just basement emo, like a lot of like stippling, the that Guacamora EP, Good Ghoul Intentions. I'm
Yeah,
huge on that
totally.
EP. Um, a lot of other stuff. That Spouter, love Spouter. Some bigger emo bands like Prince Daddy and Remo Drive and Title
Yeah.
Fight. That I don't know. I just wanted to write because I've been listening to a lot of those emo bands for so long, and I just really wanted to write an album that took like so much of what I liked from those records and like applied it to just a project in of itself.
Yeah.
But in like I don't know. A big thing with Filbert was like I wanted it to be less about like being sad and more of it being an anxious record or I really wanted to try and pull this like feeling of desperation, like, and I talk about like like scrounging for food or like feeling second rate in like a financial class type of way and stuff like
Mhm.
that. um I don't know. I wanted it to feel more like, because where I was at when I was writing it was more of a place of like of chaos, like we were talking about earlier, but like um just so anxious and so desperate to like figure shit out.
I think that that makes
Um
a lot of sense because like starting in in the intro of the whole record in the song called Intro, there's like this um uh there's a band called Totoro, which a lot of this stuff reminds me of, especially the
oh, I
intro.
love Totoro.
Totoro, you have a very Totoro-esque, like if Totoro is like the nice fields in between the two mountains, and like it's got a very uh it's just there's a calmness about it that
Hmm.
you're kind of like evil Totoro, which
That's
there's
really good.
it like that's my favorite way of explaining to you guys is that if you've listened to Totoro, the very similar melody patterns, and very similar like uh I don't know, it's like you guys are brothers in a cool way. Like
Hmm.
it's a brother sister relationship where like y'all are just like the ones that's veered away from the family. But it's you had the same kind of upbringing, but y'all have so much more, like specifically on that first song where it ends on that I think it's a sustained fifth, the where it's like the da 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 da, like it's just very 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 um it is anxious. I don't get like anxiety from it. I get energy, like how you get energy from being anxious. Um,
Yeah.
and it's this record is chaotic, but it's also like intimately chaotic. It feels personal. Um,
Hmm.
and I think it's a triumph, honestly. I think that there are very few records that occurred last year that made me feel kind of this anxiety as well. I'd say Callie Cousins did a pretty good job of making something that was like a little anxious, but it's still slower. I think there's something a little bit more frenetic about y'all that's different from Callie. Um, but there's something just we've talked about it before where it's like, hey, are you guys okay? Are you we're coming out of this record like this was a really really wild time. Hey, oh, welcome Liam. Pleasure to meet you. We have
Hey,
another person join in. Please introduce yourselves.
hi, I'm Liam. I'm the bass player in Hot Dog. Yeah, sorry. Well, I was waiting. So, D, D and I were on the phone up until 5, and then she was like, "Oh, I gotta go." And then I was like, "Okay, I guess I start making dinner." And then I completely forgot that this was happening. So I apologize for being late.
Okay, question. What are you making for dinner?
I'm making. Oh wait, can I turn the camera around? Hold on. Yes,
Yes.
I'm making roasted rice tea, Brussels sprouts, and tortellini spinach tortellinis.
Done. Fucking sick. That sounds like
What?
a well balanced adult ass meal.
It's really not. It really isn't. But hi. What's going on? What are we talking about?
We're talking about kind of the anxiety of the record,
Yeah.
and what how it's and how you guys are evil Totoro, specifically. There's like Totoro is like one of my favorite bands, and so like there's something like I don't know, there's something about the intro of the record that just keeps pulling me back, and the way that that specifically like as Totoro does, there's something just so again anxious about this record. What was it like writing the record with D?
It was really fun. I mean, a lot of it, she already had like maybe 80% written in terms of like structure.
Sure.
And so we kind of came in and just filled in what needed to get filled in. I think for a lot of it, other than like Scraggle School, um, it was a lot of like just filling in those blank spaces.
Hmm.
But and a lot of the songs took a long time to really take like fruition, I guess. Like we'd play them once, we'd feel it, we'd see how it was, see how we felt about it, and we'd come back like a week later and adjust some things. And also over the course of like playing shows, you learn a lot about what is really fun and what works in a song. It was a lot of just like seeing what people like. Like we'd try an intro. If people liked it, we'd keep it. You know, like that kind of thing. The
That's really
songs really
cool.
evolved over a long period of time.
That
Um,
I would never just me, would get so much anxiety from trying out a new thing at a show.
uh,
That like is that did y'all try or like there's some comics that are like they'll go do shows and test out material to see how it works. Were you kind of doing that? Oh, let's try this intro, let's try this outro. Oh, let's try switching these parts around. Is that what y'all kind of did? And you
not
also
in like yeah. Well, you talk about it, Dave.
Like to an extent, like I think there was some things that we tried and like some things that like failed or that we left out. I think overall, like a lot of just like different rhythm or rhythmic things, and like even like after the album, like there like are parts that are just different how we play it live. Like there's like in Orange Kid we do an ironic D beat section now. Um, just like over one of the parts and stuff like that. We just kind of I don't know, the songs keep evolving because we just want to keep having fun playing them. And uh, yeah, I mean, the long story short, yeah, we're definitely trying out some stuff, and like some of it stuck, some of it different didn't, but like overall, I mean, like the main structure of all the songs was pretty much the same. um but yeah.
okay. Now, here's also a question. A lot of people do this where they'll like overwrite songs and then like they'll cut down for the record. Did you write 9 songs and then those songs made the record, or were there ones that didn't make it?
No, everything that we wrote for the record made it on the record.
That's
We were
cool.
kind of just like, I don't know, we were like, I mean, we even brought back Canker Sore for the record because we had initially released that on our like Gore single
Uh,
in 2023.
Yeah.
Um, but I didn't like how that one was recorded as much, so we wanted to do it again. Um, but yeah, no, we kind of just like built a record. We were just like, okay, we have this many songs. We'll just like that. We kind of just had an idea for how it was gonna go from the get go, pretty much.
how important is the order of those songs then? Because if you had 9 from the get-go or 8 from the get-go plus this old one, Canker Sore, did you already know what the order of the songs was going to be as you were writing them?
I was dead set on the order being exactly how it is pretty early on. We might have switched like Filbert and Calico around a few times to play
Yeah.
with it, but like all in all, like that order was exactly like that was in the plans for a pretty hot minute there.
That's pretty intense. How did you know that while you were doing it, this was going to be the order?
It just felt right. I don't know, like a lot of the songs like it likes to organize things like I don't know, I'm crazy with shit, and I just like really wanted to like have it tell some sort of story in some way, shape, or form. And I don't think it's the most coherent story in the world, but I think the way that like just instrumentally and like, in some surface level how the lyrical content goes, like there is kind of a story and it does feel like it has a beginning, middle, and end the way that it
Sure.
goes or the way that it went up. Um, so yeah, I
I
think I
think
rambled away from the point there, but
no, you did it. No, you did it. I'm. It's basically just impressive because not only did you come into the project with 80% of it written, you already knew the track listing and you already had like exactly what you were looking for. Um, as you were saying, you've been wanting to do. I think you and I talk about this where this record was a very serious release for you that you want
yeah.
you've been trying to do something of this caliber for so long. So coming from the beginning of the process to where you are now, kind of take us through that journey where like where you were, leaving the last thing that you left behind, musically, to wanting to start this project and how serious you took it to the end.
Well, I think I've treated every project that I've been in since probably high school with the amount of sincerity and uh, diligence as this one, just because I wanted to make an album like this. Like every
Yeah,
like I it's just been a goal. Like even the stuff that I wrote by myself. Um, so I don't know. Like I had a pretty not easy childhood. We don't have to get into all that, but
sure.
a lot of crazy stuff happened, and like growing up in a lower class and stuff like that, and just a lot of a lot of trauma, and I just really wanted to paint a picture, um, to kind of get that out of my system,
Yeah.
because like I don't know, like therapy helps, but like having like a volatile reaction in like an artistic way is just like a different plateau of healing.
I
um
completely agree because it's like, hey, I can only get so much out. How can I
yeah.
get like I think it's uh, people have taught usually it's like art therapy, but I feel like art therapy is the concept even further than it's not just about painting, it's about making some kind of art. Let it spill out in other ways because I think you'll release a lot of pressure that way. So to think that you've been using music as kind of like this massive vent for you sounds not only incredibly healthy, but it seems like you're pretty good at it.
Thank you.
Well, yeah,
um
you could argue that like there's a big difference between art therapy and therapy art. Like this is very
Yeah.
much like art that is used as like a pressure valve for a D.
I
Versus
Yeah.
just
like
yeah
versus
I
like it's
really
not therapy, but it is art that is therapeutic. I don't know.
I really needed to scream. Like I really just
Yeah.
needed to scream so much. And like another side of it is like I really wanted to do my part and put my brick in the wall for like I don't know, like I hope someday some kid is gonna stumble upon this record, and like they're not gonna feel so alone, and they're gonna feel inspired to go and make their art piece and do their thing, just like how so many other artists inspired me to do the same thing. Like
Yeah,
that
totally.
lineage is super important to me.
No, that is here, give me just a moment. I gotta shut these doors. My dogs are just running around like crazy.
Hi dogs.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that that's like I don't know. I think there's a lot of people that when uh when it comes to just trauma in itself or like having to just let things spill out in a way that is more forced than I mean, there's a way you have to like have stuff come out in a more volatile way because I think it's a little bit more healthy. You can't just let it come out through like a normal sieve. It needs to be like again purged. I think that what you did is not only a really, really healthy way to get things out because making music doesn't hurt anybody.
Mhm.
This is hey it's almost alchemy. You're taking this thing and you are like channeling it into something else. You're turning literal lead to gold here. Um,
Yeah.
and it's pretty remarkable. I think that it's the only way I think art should be made is through this way. I think making art for any other reason is um, hollow in a way. So thank you for making sure that this was the least hollow thing I would I listened to last year. So this was sick.
The least
That means
hollow
a
thing is
lot.
a high compliment. Not gonna lie, that's a good ass compliment.
Yeah,
Dude,
for real.
yeah. Well, it is. It's now that we have like the context of it, you've built such a wonderful foundation for not only the future of the band, but for how you work as a band. And the content that y'all make is very, very again, I have no idea. I think y'all could do literally whatever you want for LP2 or EP2 or whatever y'all want to do. I think that there's not necessarily an expectation, but if y'all tap the same vein of this frenetic, anxious thing, I think people are going to just bite down even harder than they did last time. Like it's so cool to watch y'all like do this really cool thing.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's really like it's really blowing me away to see like how many people are connecting and how many people are just like, just finding us and like, really invested into what we have going on and stuff like that. And like even like in our hometown, like before we put out the album, like we were playing shows and like not that many people were coming out and like, we're just still small. And Filbert dropped and like there's just like a stark noticeable difference in like the energy in the room. Like we just played on New Year's and like we've played that basement before, but like for the first time, it was like kind of a madhouse. And like, microphones were hitting me in the face and stuff like that. And that's the kind of shit that I like. So
Yeah,
it feels really good to like, it feels really good to like have like our band become the chaotic band and like start to feel like the energy being reciprocated back at us in our hometown.
yeah, it's like y'all are syncing up. It's this thing that you created where you are now kind of casting the spell and it's being cast back.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool. I think that there is um I've talked to a lot of people about this. I think that there is nothing better than having your songs sung back at you and like have that moment of like people sharing the same thing you feel when you're playing it, where it's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, we're all fucking locking in to this thing that we're all tapping in together. It's so I don't know, it's people can get addicted to that, and I get why. Because it does feel good. It feels like pure validation. It feels like, oh, you agree with me. You are agreeing with me. You're validating these feelings and this music that I created. And it's kind of its own high.
No, totally. Um, Yeah, the first time I noticed people singing our songs back to us was at the release show with Aren't We Amphibians in Philly. And that was like it was super electric because I've always wanted that to happen. Even if it was just like one or two people, it was just like, oh my God, like it's finally happening. We had a kid crowd surf, like, like I can't believe that I don't know. Like it feels so good to see that shit happen.
It doesn't feel like so. Tell me what it felt like to go through kind of the break of the ceiling, where it like were you waiting for this the entire time? And then what was the moment where you felt like it happened? Where you're like, I'm here. This is finally working out in the way that I've been wanting it to.
Um, I feel like I didn't have the strongest expectation for anything really to come of it. Um, just because like I'm not really used to like creative endeavors really having that much of like I don't know, coming to like having that much like perception and stuff like that. So
Sure.
like anything that does happen and like anything that does make me feel like I'm making it and like I don't know, like makes me feel like a rock star, like for realsies. It's just like I don't know, it's just like such an icing on the cake of everything that we were talking about before and like the catharsis of it all. So
Yeah,
like
like making the music is great. Like there's its own therapy just making the music. But like then to perform the music it's another thing. But to perform for people who want it and the people
yeah.
that like want to like sing it back with you, who want to share this with you,
Hmm.
it's just it's crazy. It almost feels like uh seeing like your magic points go up. It is a total like video game moment where you're reviving, you're getting all this stuff. It feels like literal mana just being absorbed into your body. It's crazy.
You've been hitting all the like the wizard metaphors this whole time. You've just been rocking all these metaphors.
I
Alchemy,
try.
mana.
I've been playing a lot of RPGs lately, so it's like whenever I do
Uh,
that, everything I want to talk about is just based off of like that because that's how I see
DIY
everything.
DIY Twitter needs more turn-based combat.
Yes, yes. Oh my God, DIY. We just need more stats. We need more ranks and leveling up and actual experience points and that would be so sick. But yeah,
Well,
the
I have to say, Hot Dog is a Resident Evil band. We're a fucking
We are a
Resident Evil
Resident
band.
Evil band.
We've been
what
just
does
playing
that
Resident
mean?
Evil together.
We play Resident Evil together.
Oh, what's Resident Evil?
Like all of them. We just did 2, and then I did the Claire story by myself. And Dee's gonna come over before the show on Friday and play 3, I think. Yeah, I think we're gonna do 3. The remakes, because I have the remakes.
Okay, the remakes. All right, I got into Resident Evil when 4 came out.
Okay.
4. Okay, so I have one of those. I think it's called an Oculus Quest.
Oh, yeah,
Whatever,
yeah, yeah.
whatever the Facebook one was. I got one for Christmas a couple of years ago.
Uh-huh.
And they have Resident Evil 4 on that.
Whoa.
And I listen, Resident Evil 4 is already a great game. Like
Yeah.
it's a fantastic, wonderful game. But it on VR it's the best game I've ever played.
Seriously?
Like,
I'm always wary of those VR ports. Is it that good?
I want to I don't I'm gonna stutter through all this because every time I think about it, it's like I think about another good thing and then another good thing. It's just the best way to explain it is that you're no longer on like the third person kind of rail system. You actually feel like you can explore everywhere. It feels larger because you can look
Okay.
everywhere, and then you are able to the way they've done like holding weapons and grenades and all that stuff. It's all on your body, so you have to like grab
You have
at
to
it.
pull shit out? Oh,
You have to
man.
like grab it and grab your knife and all this stuff and like reload and actually have to reload and like it's just incredible design. It is ported. It's a perfect port from a console game to a VR game. Like it perfectly moves from one medium to another, and it is a flawless, uh, terrifying experience. It's still scary in VR, which is crazy. I could talk about it for so long, but I'm glad that y'all are a Resident Evil band, and I think that y'all that should be part of your bio is a Resident Evil band, or it's Resident Evil Totoro.
Yeah, we're Resident Evil Totoro.
I'm fully obsessed with y'all. What are your plans for this year?
A lot of festivals
Mm-hmm.
and writing the next piece, which we've been slowly demoing for the next piece of music.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, we're playing a lot of shows. We hired a manager. Shout out Matt.
Matt.
He's like incredible. And by hired, I mean I asked him to do it, and he said he'll do it for free until it makes sense to pay him.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Yeah, he's really good.
So I like to ask everybody, what do y'all do for your day jobs?
I'm a guitar tech at Balligar Guitars.
Now, what's cool is you used to work from you and I've been talking for a little bit. You used to work at Ibanez, and what was it like going from Ibanez to this new place?
It's like going from McDonald's to like a Michelin star restaurant. In that, like, when I worked for Ibanez, there were so many guitars that like I had to like time it out to where like I spent 7 minutes on each guitar to make sure I was making good time. Which like there's nothing like inherently wrong with that, but like I like to tinker and I like to make things as good as possible. At Balligar, like I have to sit and like really spend time with the guitar, measure everything to like a T, and like just cross off this massive checklist. And like I don't know, like I feel proud of every guitar that I work on over there, and that's what I want to do with like that makes me feel good for a job, you know.
There's kind of a through line with you where you've been trying to put 200% into something, and you have,
Mm-hmm.
and you've been so like you coming into this new job. There's just so many things shoelaced with your life about wanting to be the best, wanting to put as much effort into something or be allowed to with the exact output that you're wanting.
Yeah, no, I definitely need that for my quality of life. Like I need to kind of go crazy mode on everything. I need to lock in super hard. Um, it's that
It's
neurodivergent lifestyle.
it's inspiring. I find it really really cool. Now and what do you do for your job?
Me, I work as an AV tech at this company called Synergetic. I'm not full time there. I'm definitely part time, but I would love to. I'm an AV tech. It's really fun. It's definitely
That's
my favorite
great.
job. It's my favorite job that I've had so far, honestly, in my life. Because I worked at Whole Foods for a year, and it was absolutely soul crushing, and I hated it. And I worked in the fridge behind the store, so it was just like I literally cut fruit all day, which is nice. It would be nice if it wasn't in the fridge.
Yeah, totally.
So that was terrible. And so this has been really fun. I have a lot more control over my schedule. I have a lot more like I go to different places to work, which is really fun to me. I like showing up at a new place and having like a new challenge kind of.
Totally.
It's really sick. It's definitely my favorite job that I've had for money.
Liam, tell the class what an AV tech is.
Oh, I just like set up TVs and cameras and speakers and microphones and screens and stuff like that. It's just any kind of audio visual for an event. Usually it's like
you're conferencing.
yeah. It's a lot of conferences, a lot of like big fancy dinners and stuff like that. It's fun. It's honestly really fun. I like the challenge of like getting everything connected and done in the most efficient way. It's like problem solving. Like that's my thing. I find that so fun.
Well, fuck yeah. Well, listen, I want to play a song of y'all's. What would you like to hear after I introduce a song? And then I'll play that song.
Oh, well, we're picking the song. That was kind of unclear whether we were picking the song.
I kind of butchered the absolute fuck out of that. Do y'all want to hear one of your songs on a podcast?
Yeah.
Wait, which one should we pick?
I don't know. I'm partial to either Canker Sore or Scraggle School. I think Canker Sore is my best vocal performance, but I think Scraggle School is our most dynamic song.
Most dynamic, you're saying?
I would agree with both of those things. So I'm down to play either. So if you want to flip a coin or you want to pick one, I'm stoked to hear both.
I'll flip a pick.
I'll let
you
pick
on me.
You got a pick on you? Okay, hell
no,
yeah.
I actually have coins. Check it out.
Okay, cool. Call it.
My Brussels sprouts are smoking. That's not good. We're gonna go Canker Sore is heads. It's tails. We're doing Scraggle School.
All right. Here is Scraggle School by Hot Dog.
kids eat armor hot dogs.
That was Scrabble School by Hot Dog. Y'all, just an absolute pleasure talking to you finally. This is, y'all wrote an incredible record. I think we're all excited to see what y'all are going to do the rest of the year.
Hell yeah. I'm excited to do things for the rest of the year.
Hell yeah. All right, listen, have a wonderful rest of your night, y'all, and take care.
Thank you.
Thank you so
too.
much for having us. You're a treat, a pleasure.
No, we love you guys.
Bye-bye.
We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.